All right, so here we are. We are going to wrap up reading the book of Ruth, but we're not done talking about Ruth. We're going to have a little bit more on it tomorrow. But today, we're going to wrap up the book, and I just love this. This is such a cool deal, and this shows God's intentionality behind this, and how all of God's grace continues to work. And remember, I told you there were two themes that we were going to be looking at with the book of Ruth. One of them was this idea of the kinsman redeemer, and the other one was the idea of God's grace. And they're very much intertwined. And tomorrow we're going to talk about the whole what's the importance of the kinsman redeemer aspect of it. But today we're going to close out book, and we're going to look at the grace thing and the cool thing that God's grace is, and how God takes nothing and turns it into something, not just something, but something beautiful and incredible. All right, so Ruth chapter 4, starting in verse 13. These are the last few verses of the book. So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. When he made love to her, the Lord enabled her to conceive, and she gave birth to a son. And the women said to Naomi, "Praise be to the Lord, who this day has not left you without a guardian redeemer. May he become famous throughout Israel. He will renew your life and sustain you in your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you and who is better to you than 7 sons, has given him birth." So these ladies are saying, listen, Ruth, she's the bomb. This woman is amazing. Ruth has done incredible. So much so that everyone now respects this Moabite woman. Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, remember, Moabites are the lowest of the low, but Ruth, through her incredible acts of sacrifice and service and love and devotion, truly her namesake of friendship, she has shown incredible things that are far more valuable than 7 sons or even the 2 sons that she had before. And then Naomi, she's no longer Mara now, she's Naomi again, okay? Took the child in her arms and cared for him. And the women living there said, "Naomi has a son." And they named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse, the father of David. And so this then is the family line of Perez. Remember, we talked about Perez yesterday. Perez was as a result of Judah and Tamar. So we got that weird illicit relationship there, okay? Perez was the father of Hezron, Hezron the father of Ram, Ram the father of Amminadab, Amminadab the father of Nahshon, Nahshon the father of Salmon, Salmon the father of Boaz, Boaz the father of Obed, Obed the father of Jesse, and Jesse the father of David. So this is a descendant of David. Now I'm going to read another genealogy to you because I love this, all right? Here we go, Matthew chapter 1. This is the genealogy of Jesus the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Now, as we read this, there are 4 women mentioned, okay? All right, let's see if you can pay attention to the interesting thing about these women. Abraham was the father of Isaac, Isaac the father of Jacob, Jacob the father of Judah and his brothers, Judah the father of Perez and Zerah, whose mother was Tamar. There's number 1. Perez the father of Hezron, Hezron the father of Ram, Ram the father of Amminadab, this is getting familiar, Amminadab the father of Nahshon, Nahshon the father of Salmon, Salmon the father of Boaz, whose mother was Rahab, Boaz the father of Obed, whose mother was Ruth, Obed the father of Jesse, Jesse the father of King David. And David was the father of Solomon, whose mother had been Uriah's wife. Solomon the son of Rehoboam, Rehoboam the father of Abijah, Abijah the father of Asa, Asa the father of Jehoshaphat, Jehoshaphat the father of Jehoram, Jehoram the father of Uzziah, Uzziah the father of Jotham, Jotham the father of Ahaz, so on and so forth till we get to Jesus. But those 4 women, this is where God's grace comes in. Because each one of these 4 women, if you look back in the Old Testament, has a tragedy story. Remember, Tamar, that was not a beautiful story there. But God turned it into something beautiful. Now, you remember who Boaz's mom was? Rahab the prostitute. She was turned into something beautiful. Boaz became an upright and godly man who then married Ruth, the despised Moabite. And then we go down a little bit farther and we remember that the great-great-grandson, Solomon, was as a product of Uriah's wife, Bathsheba. God took 4 stories of ugliness and 4 stories that really were tragic, and he turned them into something beautiful. And not only did he turn them into something beautiful, but the son Remember the prophecy the women said in Ruth chapter 4? You remember this? What did they say? Okay, this is the beautiful part. Here we go again. Praise be to the Lord, who this day has not left you without a guardian redeemer. May he become famous throughout Israel. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you and is better than you, 7 sons has given him birth. Now, Boaz was famous, but the son and the lineage that came as a result of that, the Messiah. It doesn't get any more full of grace than that. And that's a beautiful reminder for us that what we may not be able to see coming downstream, God's grace and God's love continues to abound. And while we might be like Mara at times, feeling bitter, God can show that even in those times, truly he is at work. So tomorrow, we've talked about the grace part. Now tomorrow, we're going to talk about the kinsman redeemer. See you then.